Hello everyone, my name is Ritika Gupta and today we will be learning about PostgreSQL. So let's begin. First of all, we'll start by downloading a PostgreSQL package according to the configuration of our PCs or laptops, that is whether it's a Windows, Mac or a Linux. So after downloading it, what we'll do is we'll go here to the search bar, we'll tap on pgadmin 4, this one, and we'll run it as administrator. So it will take a bit of time to open. So after it gets open, so this is how it looks like. It will ask you for a password that you have set while downloading the package. So so okay, on the right hand side it will show, sorry, on the left hand side it will show servers, PostgreSQL database. So I have already downloaded a database. That database is known as a DVD rental database and it's a huge database. So before moving forward, I'll first of all let you know about the entity relationship diagram of this database. So this is the ER diagram. The benefits of an ER diagram is that when you draw this diagram, you know the relationship between different tables. For example, the category table and the film table. They are connected to each other by a key named as the category ID. And like this, a lot of tables are connected to each other. So what we'll do, suppose I want to make a collect some data from two tables, that is a category table or a film table. I want the name, the category ID, and the description and the film ID. So what I'll do is I'll connect category table with the film category table and then the film category table with the film table, because the category table and the film table are not connected directly, they are connected via a film category table. Okay, so this is the whole ER diagram. As we move forward in this video, I'll show you the ER diagram again and again so that you can have a clear-cut idea about how different tables are joined or connected to each other. It looks like, and what we'll do is for the query tool, we'll right click on this DVD rental and we'll click on the query tool. Okay, so after opening, this is how it looks like. So this is the space where we have to write our all the queries, and this dialog box, this is the space where all the result will come up. For example, okay, so we'll see the tables. All the tables are listed over here. Okay, so just a minute, I'll show you a clear-cut idea of how many tables are there. There are a total of 15 tables, and just a minute. Okay, so all the 15 tables are here. That is the actor, the address, the category table, city, country, etc. etc. So I'll show an example. For example, we have to, find all the data that belongs to the actor table. So what we'll do is we'll select star. Star, it means basically you are capturing all the data, that is you are not capturing a single. For example, if we write, okay, I'll show you first. So star from, sorry, from actor, and we'll finish this line by a semicolon and we'll run this query. Okay, so this is the result. All the data that is in the category table will come up over here. So the category table, the actor table has the actor ID, the first name, the last name, and the last update. So the actor ID is in the integer, the first name is in the character varying, and the last name is also in character varying, and the last update is the time span. So asterisk, it means that the asterisk or a star, it means that you want all the information that is in a given table. So if we replace the star by, suppose I want to find the first name. So I'll write down the first name instead of the star, and then the table will show me only the first name of the actor table. Okay, as you can see over here. So moving forward, if I tell you that I want the details of the category table, so then we'll write select star, that is for all the information from. From is used as from which table we want. If we want the all the our information from a single table, we'll write from, that is from. If we want a category table, we'll write category. And sorry, okay, so we'll run this, and then we can see there are three table columns in the category table. That is the category ID, the name, and the last update. Okay, so this is how the select statement works, and this is how a from work with the select statement. Thing which we are going to see is a where clause and how we can use it. So the where clause is basically something is used when we need to find a specific item from a large data. So for example, if we'll take a film table, select star from film, and we'll run it. Okay, so this is the huge table that we are having. So I need to, there are sometimes when we need to find a particular data. So I need to find the data of the film table where the release year is 2006. Okay, so I'll use a where clause where release year is equals to 2006. Okay, now I'm going to show you a common mistake that we all do while writing the queries. That is, we put this 2006 into double quotes or a single quote. Okay, for example, if we place it in a double quote like this, and then we'll run this query will not run, as the 2006 in double quotes doesn't exist because it's not an alphabet. So when we'll remove this double quote and then try to run this query, then this query is successful and we get all the information inside the film table that has a release year 2006. Okay, so you can see right over here the release year is 2006. Okay, so while talking about the quotes, I have to show you something, that only when we are writing some digits, or we're not writing in alphabet. For example, we are searching. Okay, so if we want to search an alphabet, for example, I need to search where the title is chamber Italian. Okay, where title is equals to chamber Italian. Okay, and I have placed it in a single quote. You need to make sure when you are writing some alphabet in the single quote that the thing that you're searching for is exactly the same that you have written over here. That is, if here the C is capital, then here the C should be capital. Otherwise it will not run and will show an error. And if we run this query is successful and we can see every information that belongs where the title is Chamber Italian. Okay, so just make sure that whenever you are using a where clause with some alphabets, then you need to put that in a single quote. And if you are using it with some digits, for example 1 2 3 4 5 6, anything, that you don't need to put that in a double quotes, because then it will take it as a string. Okay, so if you put anything in a quote or in a single quote or in a double quote, it will consider it as a string. So 2006 or 2007 or any digit is not a string. So this is how our where clause works for when we need to find some specific thing. Okay, so moving forward, we'll see some filter operators, that is the operators that filter our data. So we need some data. For example, we'll select star from film table and then we'll run it. We can see a huge amount of data, and all the data that is over here is not required. Sometimes we need to find, sometimes the data in a very specific format. So what we'll do is, mm, okay, so we'll use, suppose we need to find the data where the, the rental rate is um 4.99 or 0.99. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll write where rental rate in, we'll use in, that is a filter operator, and we'll then use brackets and we'll write 4.99 comma 0.99, and then we can see and run this query. Okay, so you can see over here all the data where the rental rate is either 4.99 or 0.99. Okay, so this is how the data looks like. So the in operator is used when we need to find 2 or 3 items, and the other operator that we are going to use is a between operator. Okay, when the rental rate is between 0.99 and 4.99, and if we run this query, then we can see the data that is between 0.99 and 4.99. So it will have 2.99 also because it comes between 0.99 and 4.99. It will have 4.99 also because if you are using a between operator, it will consider these two also, the 4.99 and 0.99 rental rate. Okay, so this is how two filter operator works, that is a between and in operator. Okay, so moving forward, now we'll see how a like operator works. So okay, so let us take some another table. For example, we are going to take a country table. Okay, okay, sorry, the spelling is wrong. Okay, so the countries are over here. Okay, so I want to find the specific data from the country table where the the first letter of the country is D, and it can have any number of characters other than D. So then I'll use the like operator. How it works is where country like, it has to be put in quotes, A, and then I'll put this percentage sign, which means that any number of characters can go, but the first character needs to be A. Okay, so now I'll run this. So see, now I have the data where the country starts from A. Okay, so there are 10 countries that starts from A, or I can say where the it starts from D. So there's only one country. Okay, so this is how a like operator works. For example, I want to find a country where it can have, okay, so where the it can have any number of characters, but the end character should be n. Okay, so it will find me the country where the last letter has to be n, and there can be any number of characters or any number of letters before n, it doesn't matter, but the last should be n. So see, there are a lot of countries where the last letter is n. So this is how a like operator works. But you in the like operator, you have to make sure that whatever you are writing under the single quotes has to be exactly like, if you can't write the last letter as a capital N, because if there is C, the query runs, but you don't get any output over here, because here there is no such country which has a last letter as a capital N. Okay, so for this, if you do some, some people are there, they do some common mistakes, like writing a capital letter as a small letter and writing a small letter as a capital letter. For you guys, there's another clause, I like clause, so you can write it over here and this query will run. Because if you use an I like, it doesn't matter that you are writing an uppercase or a lowercase. If it has to be N, and for the last letter has to be N, it is N. It doesn't matter whether it's a capital N or a small n. So I like is not case sensitive, and a like operator is case sensitive, although they do the same work. And suppose if you're okay, the next thing is, suppose if you're finding n number of letters, and then I want that the second last letter should be, okay, there should be okay, so I want something where the first letter should be, okay, first letter can be anything. For that I have to place an underscore, then the second letter should be A, and then it can have any number of characters. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The first underscore means that there is one space reserved for any for any letter. A means that the second letter should be A, and the percentage signs mean it can have any number of letters after A. So if we run this query, we can see the output as this. The first letter can be B, C, D, anything, and the second letter has to be A, and then it can have any number of letters. So this is how a like operator or a I like operator works. Okay, so now we'll move forward to our next statement, that is a limit statement. So how a limit statement works, that okay, so this is our previous statement, that is we are selecting everything from a table, that is a country table, where the country I like underscore A, then a percentage sign. So now I'll use a limit statement. It says that limit 5. So if there are okay, so how much output is over here is 21 rows are over here, and if we use the limit statement, that is will limit it to 5 rows, then how it works like this. Instead of 21 lines, we have we see only first 5 outputs. Okay, if we write it down as limit 10, then we'll be able to see only the first 10 outputs. Okay, so this is how a limit statement works. So moving forward, now we'll see how a order by statement works. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to see is an order by statement. So how it works, for that we need to take an table. So we are taking a customer table. So we can select everything from customer and then we'll run or execute the query. So this is how it looks like. So I want to find out okay. So from this customer table, I want to find the store ID. Okay. From this customer table, where um, active boolean, sorry, yeah, where active boolean is equal to true, order by, we'll order it by say customer ID, or we can order it by a first name. Okay, we'll order it by first name and then we'll execute this query. Okay, I think I have done some mistake over here. Just a minute. I think I have written the wrong name of the column. So it is not active boolean, sorry, it is active bool. So make sure that you write the name of the column as it is. You don't do this mistake that I have done. This is a very silly mistake and this is how it looks like. Okay, so order by the first name. Okay, I'll show you how it does. So I'll also want the first name and the store ID. So how it orders by the first name is it orders in the alphabetical order. Okay, suppose A is the starting letter and it order by everything according to the first name. So if I want it in a descending order, then I can write DESC and it will order everything. See, it starts from Z, not from A, because I have ordered this everything or this query in a descending order. So this is how an order by statement works. It's a very important statement because every data that we need or that we are using, it's in some ordered way. Okay, so we don't get a data that is not in an ordered way or because it's very difficult to process that data. So this is how we use an order by statement. Okay, so we'll move forward with the concept of joins. For example, I want to take the data from two tables, that is from an actor table and an address table. I want the data from these two tables, then I'll join these two tables and then I can obtain the data. So before moving forward, we'll go back again to our ER diagram. And so we can see how the tables are linked over here, and these tables are linked via a primary key or a foreign key. So this concept is a very main and basic concept. What is a primary key? A primary key is basically a key or a column that belongs to that table. For example, the category ID belongs to the category table and it is the primary key for the category table. And this category ID also belongs to the film category table, but here it is the foreign key because this film category table has taken the category ID column or a key from this category table. Okay, so this is how basic concept works. So now we'll pull off every data from the category table and the film category table where um, via a category ID key. So how we'll gonna query this thing is we'll select everything from category and then we'll join the film category table using a category ID that is a primary key of the category table. Okay, so we'll run this. See, it has the category ID name, last update, film ID and the last update. Okay, so we can see over here the category table contains how many columns? It contains three columns, that is the category ID which is over here, a name which is over here and the last update which is over here. And now we'll see a film category table that we have joined. So the film category table contains how many columns? It contains three columns, that is a film ID which is over here, the category ID which is over here from the category table and the last update which is over here. Okay, so when we need to find the data from two tables, then we use join. Okay, so this is how it works. And if we want to select something, suppose I want to select the name, okay, and the category ID, also the film ID. The name is from the category table, the category ID is also from the category table and the film table, and the film ID is from the film table. From category using this and order by, I'll order it by, we'll order it by suppose name, okay, and we can also limit it up to 10. Only 10 rows we can see. So if we execute this, okay, so this is how it shows the name, the category ID and the film ID from these two tables. So it, so see how it makes so easy that instead of searching from a lot of columns, we only search from three or main columns that we want to search. There's no unnecessary columns over here. So order by statement is also work, that is the name over here is ordered by alphabetically, and the category ID and the film ID also works over here. So this is how join statement works. Okay, so now what we can do is you can rename the columns over here also. For example, if you want to rename the name as the, you can use an as operator and you can rename it as uh, genre, and you can rename the category ID as ID, and then if you run this query, then you can see that over here the name is replaced by genre and the category ID is replaced by ID. So this is how an as operator works. It renames everything, and also if, okay, so this is how an as operator works. suppose we are taking some another column as such as a payment column. I also want the payment. Okay, we'll move back to our ER diagram so it makes easy for you to understand what we are doing. So see, if I take payment table and I want the payment and the rental table to be connected, so what I'll do is I will select everything from the payment table or from the rental uh, payment using. So if we can see the ER diagram, the rental table and the payment table have one thing is common, that is the rental ID. It has the rental ID is in the rental table also, and it is in the payment table also. So we can join these two tables by using rental ID. Okay, so we can cut down this limit and this order by, see, um, every time when we, okay, so first we'll run this statement, then I'll tell you about this. Okay, so these are the things that we get after joining these two tables. Okay, so now what I want is I want rental ID. Okay, see, the rental ID is there in both the tables, but I want the rental ID from the rental table. So I'll write it down, rental id, then it will extract the rental id from the rental table only and not from the payment table. Okay, and I also want the amount. Okay, see, amount is only in the payment table, so there's no need to write payment dot amount because it will extract amount only from the payment table. Also the payment id, payment dot payment id, and if we run this, see, it shows only three columns that we are asking for: the rental id, the amount, and the payment id. So every time when we are writing the query using the joins, we don't need to write down rental because sometimes the name of the tables are very large, and every time if you write the name of the table, then the column that you want to extract becomes very lengthy. So what we do, we use alias. So for the rental we use R, and for the payment we use P. So if we simply write down R dot rental or P dot payment ID, then it will also work. Okay, I can show you. Yes. After we have used alias, there's no change in the output, so it becomes really very easy for the people like us who are doing the query to just write it in the short form, and that's it. We get our desired output. So one more thing, if you're using join, there's no you can join as many as a number of table you want to. If we can see the ER diagram, okay, so I want um Okay, suppose I want the store ID. Okay, the store ID is in the inventory table and I want the name from the category table. So there's no direct connection between the category table and the inventory table. So what we are going to do is first we are going to link the category table with the film category table, then the film category table with the film table, and then the film table with the inventory table, so that we can have the name and the store ID that we want as our desired output. So let's query it. So what we want is we want name, okay, and store ID from first we'll write category, okay, the name we want from the category, so we'll write c dot category, okay, then we'll join it with the film category table, then we can write it as fc, or we can write it as, okay, we can use fc. So we'll join these two tables by using the category id, okay, so the key is category id, and then we'll join it with the film table, okay, that is f, using okay, so okay, using the film id, that is because the film id is in the film category table also and it's in the film table also, so we'll write it down film id, and then we'll join the film table with the our desired table, which is the inventory table, and we can join it using the inventory id or the film id. Okay, we'll join it using the film id because the film id is present in the film table also and it is present in the inventory table also. So again we'll join it using film id, okay, sorry, inventory I using film id, okay. So the store ID is present in the inventory table. We can write it down I dot store ID, and if we run this, yes, we can have the desired output. We can have the name and the store ID as we want. So if we order it by using the store ID, okay, and we can limit it up to only 10 outputs. So this is how it is. It is first of all ordered by the store ID, that is only one, or okay. Okay, so this is how we can use joins. So we can join a lot of tables as per we want, and there are a lot of other statements also, like there are a lot of other aggregate functions such as average sum. We can have the sum of a lot of columns. We can have a sum of, suppose, a payment column, we can have a sum payment, we can have average payment, and there are a lot of other functions also, like we can have sub queries also, a sub statements also. It's a very vast topic. Since the length of the video should be short, so we are stopping it over here. If you guys want to know more about SQL or more about PostgreSQL, you can guys can connect with me via LinkedIn. And this is all for this video, so keep querying.